Okay, what's up? Welcome, welcome. I know it's been a long time. Feels like it's been a long time. But, I will always cover an NXL layout when it comes out. We'll get started here in just a second. Um, funny health update. I've actually been congested since the last event, since NXL Lone Star Major. So, what's that, like 7 weeks or something? So that's fun. So if my voice sounds a little sick, it's just the same thing. It's pretty bad. But, all right. Well, initially, my impressions of this layout are the snake is crazy. I think that's kind of everybody's impressions, especially because the outside channel is just like completely exposed. So obviously, as we look at the snake, we will dive into that a little bit deeper. But now looking at off the break shots, interesting that the tower is like off-centered towards the Dorito side. That's kind of cool. That Dorito side shot is crazy. But if you start in this right-ish side of the star box, you have some pretty decent gaps here you can shoot through. Most notably those two. If you cut in a little bit further, you've got a shot over towards the corner. Man, I feel like Guns Up updated. The pen tool is really nice. At least it feels a lot nicer and like it remembers my setting. Also have shots over the top towards the back center if somebody tries to do this. Interesting. Also, you can use this spot to pull to the right and just start shooting towards the Dorito side. So that's kind of cool. If you come here, you can round this Aztec to shoot towards the home. And then continuing out to the right, there's definitely a gap here. What's that gap? It's this one? Okay. So we did look at that already. Okay. So there's the gap there as you try to get out to the snake. That's a tight shot. And then if the tower decides to push up, he can shoot towards you. Oh no, we're getting that other bug. Please no. Oh no. I'm gonna reset this really quick before we get too deep into it. I don't know what it is with this. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's been a persistent issue. I keep forgetting to tell Mike about it, but okay. So in any case, it does look like there's plenty of shots over towards the snake side. And as you go further out, I mean, you could still get hit if you're running too high on the tower for sure. But it looks like the majority of the well, there's this shot here. This shot would definitely get you. Oh, well, not white pen. This guy shooting at you from there would definitely pick you up. So lots of different opportunities. So what that looks like is, excuse me, this shot right here coming in from the back center. So interesting. J9, what's up? Absolutely. No problem. So then if we go out to the corner now, there is no corner. What does this bunker look like here? There's no way to play this. Right? Like, I guess you could play it right here. Right? But I mean, if somebody pushes up from the tower to the center 50 or that center 40 brick, you're just dead. So interesting. Okay. Well, that's the back line for the snake side. Let's look at the back line for the Dorito side and also the middle. So again, if you just start off the break, pretty wide open shot towards the Dorito side. I feel like the shots are probably relatively even, but they appear more wide open because this pin blocks so much visibility on the snake side. But they're not any more dangerous, I wouldn't think, right? Because you can start all the way out here. That's just a few steps, and you're pretty good. So shooting the two is definitely possible. For those of you in higher divisions, I would definitely practice that shot. But your first ball needs to be on. Like, your first two balls need to be accurate. Otherwise, shooting for the Dorito runner is pretty straightforward. It always amazes me when I look at this layout on Guns Up. I always think, how do people survive that? Because that is a huge gap, you know? Like, you got to be quick. So, okay. And then, furthermore, if you shoot towards the corner, there's also that as well. I wonder what that Dorito route looks like, because, I mean, if it's out wide to the Doritos, this is a massive gap. But if it's like, do you round this and come up to that Dorito that's on the inside channel? It might be that it might be some kind of weird So maybe we do like a, maybe the 1 is here, the 2's here, the 3's here, and then it would be the 2 or the 1 actually. This would be the 1 and this would be the 2. Is that the start? The default? Kind of looks like it. Because man, getting out past this can is going to be hard. So if we go further past the can, obviously the home shot in on us is a big concern. Once we get to this point though, the only thing we have to worry about is what's in front of us. So we can push forward. And you probably can, yeah, if you killed the whitest guy, and the only person that was behind him is the support player playing either the tower or the can, either this bunker or this bunker, you could actually just run straight and dive. Like if you dove right here, you'd have to be careful. You'd have to almost like dive right here. So if you dive here, then you'd be underneath the turret's visibility or the tower's turret visibility. Then you could honestly ignore the can for a second, wrap on this dude, get him to flinch and get to this wedge. Either kill him here or, you know, over the top, whatever. But interesting. So yeah, that's a pretty tough gap to get past. So if we keep going though, if we get here again, the same sort of shots can come in on us from the tower. And then, man, there's so much visibility. Again, I don't know how people are going to survive this Dorito side. I mean, the same is true for the snake as well, but okay. Not a true tape in either case. Actually really like this Dorito side once you get here so far. Some blind shots over the top of the wedge if you're standing tall. Otherwise, if you get low, you can ignore pretty much everything that's going on the Dorito side, and your only target is the wedge, or excuse me, the tower. Assuming they haven't pushed forward. Let me turn up my volume real quick. I feel like I'm quiet. Okay. Interesting. Okay, well let's look at what should we do? Let's do the snake side first. I'm so curious. We'll start with the snake side, and then we'll do Dorito side, and then we'll finish with the middle, and then we'll do breakouts. I do have to go through this kind of quickly because I have a meeting after this to discuss like camera angles and stuff on this layout. So let's get through this quickly. So if you come here and look heads up, you really only have a gap to hold. You could shoot shots, you know, you could throw paint over the top of the pin right in front of you and get shots to lob in on somebody over the top, maybe on the outside of this bunker. But honestly, a lot of that's blind. And then you can't see anything on that side. If you look Dorito side, you have a small gap here, the inside shot to the tower, and then a gap that you can stop, or the inside of the Dorito. What Dorito number is that? That would be, we'll call it Dorito 2. I would call this like Rocket, and I'd call this Beast, probably. And then Dorito 1, Dorito 2. But, okay. Interesting. Wow, so what does this bunker do? Is this just a stopgap for the snake side? I guess over the top you have a bit better visibility right here. This is really good. And you do have shots you can put in over the top of this, obviously. Like, there's definitely pressure and things you can apply here, but honestly, it's kind of odd. If we get to this next spot, so the person that's going to stop us is the Aztec, the guy in front of us. And I guess if somebody gets to the 50 brick, that would stop us right here. That would be really hard. But they even have a small window, so if you get them to flinch, I guess over the top they'd kill you. If you got them to flinch, they came over the top, they would still kill you. But in either case, at the breakout, it really does feel like it's just your mirror. I don't know who's going to stop you from getting to this spot. It's the next one that's going to be tough. So getting here past the turret or the tower is going to be hard. I mean, there is a little bit of contention, or you get, you know, threatened a little bit by your mirror. I'm not sure how much of a concern that would be. Yeah, wow, dude, this layout is crazy. So then this inside channel into the snake, if we get to, we'll call this, that's the god probably. This would be snake 1, maybe. We'll just call it snake 1 for now. You do have some inside gaps to hold, some Dorito players to shoot at. That looks like Dorito 1 and Beast. So if you do get stuck for whatever reason, you can find yourself doing that. If we wrap further inside, not really anything to see. However, you do have this inside channel. You do have this inside channel right here. So I'm imagining a scenario in which you kill the middle guy. So let's say, for example, your breakout is, I don't know why it would be this, but let's say there's a dude here and there's a dude here. You tiger the middle guy wherever he is, and then you have some Dorito guys over in these spots. So if that's your setup, you can honestly go inside, right? Because I guess right here is where you'd be most concerned of a Dorito dude seeing you. But if you go here, you can probably surprise these guys with those inside shots. Go here, and then you can actually either play this corner or jump over, like dive over, and now all of a sudden you're in this spot. So that's an option. Otherwise, what stops you from moving forward? Let's find out. So if I lay here, it would definitely be the 50 brick, or the 40 brick, excuse me. 40 brick would stop you. If I took this inside beam, no one would stop me except for the guy in front of me if he was at the 50 already. Or I guess if he was like here and came up over the top and shot at me. I can see where this layout's going though. That's interesting. We'll get to the outside snake in a second, but I can kind of get the idea of the ebb and flow here. So if I wanted to get to this wedge and I wanted to crawl from here inside to outside, it's still the 50. It's still the 40 brick. This transition is where the tower guy would kill you. So to kind of give you an idea, this box, what is it? So I would be careful here. This is your 50. This is your 50 brick dude. That's the guy that would probably kill you. And then this other box right here, as you transition, if you're wanting to go from the inside channel out to the wedge, it would be both of these guys. This dude could see you, and then this guy could probably see you. So that's, again, not really much threat heads up, it looks like, unless they stand up over the top. So that's always an option, right? Say they're in the wedge themselves, they could kill you. But if we get to the wedge, what's there to do here? So you do have shots onto the Dorito 3, which is... we're about this, yeah, we're at the same point in the field as the Dorito 3. I was going to say, I'm always curious if we have better shots with having to do less work to get there, but this is probably the same amount of work. You have some visibility in a gap from the home player moving up to the 40 brick, or people doing Dorito stuff. So that's if you get stuck. Interestingly, you also have this angle that you can hold to either shoot anybody rounding this or your mirror. That's such a weird layout, dude. Okay, so then if you get up to the 50 now, we'd already talked about this a little bit. Backing off of the 50, you can see this guy. Over the top of the 50, you can see the wedge if he's tall as well. The actual Dorito 50 wedge. We'd call that Raider or Omaha. And then this Aztec, if you were to wrap, this is so weird. I wonder if you can see down Snake Alley. So you can't see down, at least not in the guns up layout. You might be able to at the tournament. This guy would stop you. Is that that's like the only usefulness of that? Oh, that's a different Aztec. Okay, never mind. So that guy can stop you, and then if you were to try and round this, so what's the outside going to do to us? I guess there's always that chance. There's always the chance where like you just forgot that some dude is here and he's crawling down, and you're just like right here trying to find somebody in this center way. Volume is pretty low. Yeah, I don't know why. Let me turn up. Let's do Go XLR. It's like right in my mouth too. Volume was all the way up. Let's do stream broadcast. I think it's saying it's being used. Let's do... How's that? That should be better. Hopefully it's louder. Tell me if it's good. I'll adjust it if not. So, yeah, this is... That's There's always a chance for this. In this case, honestly, I think you can just stand up and shoot the dude. I mean, yeah, you guys are so close. That outside route is so risky, but... All right, Snake Guy gets then into this mini wedge, and it's just, you've got a heyday to kill the Dorito players, so... Anyway, okay, perfect. I'm glad it's better. So then if we were to take this outside route, so if we were to run and stop here, again, I don't really see you playing this spot. The only option you have is to, I mean, again, maybe it will be better at the actual event. This is one of those where I just have no idea. You can really only play right here, and even when you do that, this guy is a concern. So, but assuming you get here, you have a really good wrap onto the tower. You can see the wedge, or can see the brick. What else can you see? You can see... You could challenge the Aztec. Oh, excuse me. You could challenge the Aztec. Obviously, whatever's going on heads up. But there's just no way for you to stop here. So let's just see where you could stop to get some kills, okay? So if you were to stop at this wedge, just behind the wedge, and the best way to know where these stop points are is to use the seams as the point of reference. And then you can either, like, I've seen people draw lines with their hands to, like, where there's paint. I see people, like, moving their hands to draw lines on the bunker to give you, like, a point of reference. But honestly, like, understanding how far away you need to be from the seam of a particular beam is probably the best way. But on this spot, if you come up over the top, you can either kill or challenge the Dorito 3 or that wedge. Is that a wedge or a brick? Yeah, the wedge. If you keep going, or I guess if you do the same thing where you stop like here, you could shoot the mini wall, maybe, depending on where he's looking. So what this is telling me is we need to find a way to keep them out of the snake channel, including the outside channel, which then tells me if we want to keep people out of the outside channel, we almost need to always send a dude to the middle and look for that. Because if we can stop them from going to the outside channel, even if they're in the snake, we can crawl all the way right here, which then leads to, well, run throughs towards the middle are going to be really common. As soon as the run through happens, you just kill your snake player. This layout, dude. Okay, so if we keep going, there's lots of ways you can approach this. I almost feel like you should just go all the way instead of stopping and challenging, because if you stop here and challenge, you're just going to die. This guy will kill you if he's there. Otherwise, you have great shots cross field if not. But yeah, honestly, if you just keep crawling all the way and you get to this point, now all of a sudden you have tons of kills. Like tons of kills. So let's I'm not going to do the Dorito side first. I'm going to do the snake side after, or excuse me, the middle after the snake. And then we'll take a look. We'll see kind of how this is stopped. So I do think that at the actual event, also depending on how tall you are, I do think you will be able to get paint over the mini W, over this wedge on the outside of that mini W enough that it will prevent the player from moving. So at least it looks like it. So this is a pretty strong spot to stop that move. And this looks to be ultimately the support position. This looks to be the place you kind of have to stop before you make this push into this spot. But again, as you can tell, that middle brick is really just has your it's going to take your lunch money, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Over the top, you have good visibility of both of those players, the tower and the 40 brick. You don't really have visibility on the outside channel stuff. It's just interesting because really there's only like a couple spots that you can be in to stop them from getting to the outside channel, and otherwise it just feels like uncomfortable to be there. I guess this guy right here can stop it. This guy right here can stand up relatively safely. Yeah, these are actually pretty decent. These are good spots. So these two bunkers right here are really good spots to stop if you can get there. But again, as we said, the 50 or the 40 wall is going to be a problem. Okay, let's revisit this bunker really quick. Why this bunker? What would you do here? Are there bounces? There's a lot of pins, not a lot of bounces, though. Like, what are the pins blocking? This inside route? Interesting. You can come out here. So obviously there's a Dorito 1 that could kill you on the inside. But if you look at where I'm at, like, the tower will shoot above you. You could come here to kill somebody on the wire, and there's nobody who can see you, right? The 40 brick can't see you. Tower can't see you. Dorito 1 can. That would be the thing that kills you. But I don't know. That's kind of interesting. Like, if you're here and you can't see the guy and you wrap and get this guy put in, you don't even have to commit to this spot, because this spot's he's just gonna shoot for it at the landing zone. But if you come out here wide, just like run baseline essentially, come out and slide, you kill that guy, I think. Okay, what time are we at? Okay, we need to go. So let's look at the middle then. So if we run and gun towards the middle, let's see what we can do to stop the snake stuff. So lots of open air shots towards this snake 1, the inside of the god. I guess I don't know which I was calling. This almost feels like, this feels more like the god. This feels kind of like Cobra, but this could also be Cobra. But I think functionally this is Cobra, this is god. This is snake 1, snake 2, Viper, Scorpion. I don't know what you call this. Like, I don't know. Alamo. I don't know. Alamo's a bad call. But if you, so you can also, if people are going for that, you can shoot it here too. So without committing all the way into the tower, you can come here and shoot for that. But this is where, as people start to come out to the Cobra, we'll call it, the snake corner, and they put their paint up towards the middle, that's where you start to get in trouble. So lots of stuff blocking whether or not they come here and go on the inside, outside. Yeah, it's mostly that inside alley that you can't see anymore. And at that point, they could surprise you from here, here, here. Lots of places they could surprise you. If they do get stuck at that Cobra or God, you have really good control on the snake side from this position. You do have to check off the Dorito side if you're going to move up after the breakout. In the breakout, you probably are fine to push up. And then, like we said, when you get here, now you can see what that angle looks like. This is the spot to stop the guy getting into that position. Even if he is alive in the outside of this bunker, that is such a tight spot to survive that it feels like you're going to hit a dude's pack, probably a shoe. If you just send all your paint on the inside of this spot, you're just going to kill that guy. So, but if you get here, you can do the same job where you hold the God and the Cobra from getting into the snake. And you also have some pretty strong zone control and the guy in front of that. So really, really solid spot. Again, this tells me that this position is a really good off the break spot. You could go to it as a delayed route just to protect yourself from any kind of rundowns, but you'd have to make sure that you have your shots are on point to keep them out of the snake. So if your shots are really good from the back center, then you don't have to go here as often, because if you can't hit your shots, you do have to go here, which then again makes you more susceptible to getting run down. Let's look at the Dorito side of this bunker really quick. So again, huge gaps, as a reminder, huge gaps over on the Dorito side. I mean, getting stuck at that can feels like it's really easy. Look at how big this is. Look at how big that gap is. And again, more visibility on pretty much any bunker on the Dorito side. This is crazy. How are people not going to get stuck in the pocket? I don't know. Lots of places to shoot. If you're owning what's in front of you, if the whitest dude is here and you're owning this can and this dude that's mirrored with you presumably is not looking Dorito way, you can just run up this route, which is safe. It's more protected from the snake side than otherwise. So again, if we're looking Dorito way, we can see same gaps. Now we're closer. What's the snake doing? Viper's not even killing us. He will kill us when he gets to our wedge, though. Which, if they control that inside snake route or snake alley, whatever you guys want to call it, if they control it and we don't have a body there, then so much bad happens. But if we then push off, so Really, the consideration from going to here to the juice box that's right here is whether or not, like, if we know where everybody is on the Dorito side. Let's say they're here looking outside and they're in the corner looking outside. So they're looking Dorito way. They're not really seeing what I'm doing. As long as I check off the middle guy, make sure he's not looking at me. Can I make this move? Probably. The snake one would ruin my day. So that tells you that that's really good protection from the middle. So let's say, for example, the middle's holding you. Snake way. You're just kind of stuck here. What you can do while he's shooting at you is kind of float back and then protect this route, even if you can't move forward, because you can't see anything snake side, right? You can't really see anything heads up. So the best you can do is control Doritos. You can't see anything snake side, right? Yeah, I mean there's nothing. Like, you can shoot this dude, the Aztec, over the, like, you can drop balls in on him, but your only other option is to challenge him directly, because I think you will get shot in the pack by that guy. Yeah, I think he can stand tall enough to shoot you in your pack. So going back here, and then we'll do Dorito side and then breakouts. So if we go over here, obviously snake is now a big concern for us. I wouldn't do this cross shot from the inside. I would actually just play outside. And again, these gaps are huge, dude. I don't even know, like... I'm just going to be saying that the whole time. I don't know how you... So the thing that I enjoy about... what I enjoy about playing paintball and layouts is I really like when there's a methodology, or there's kind of like... There's just checkpoints at every moment on the field where you go to a spot and who you target is very deterministic, right? You go to the corner, you can't see your mirror, you can only see the inside guy that's stopping you. That's a fun dynamic. You also have to be worried about a middle dude who pushes up really early, who's baiting you, if he can see you. That's a fun dynamic, right? It means that even if you own the support guy, you can't just immediately take the bite because the middle dude could kill you. That's a fun dynamic. What's not a fun dynamic is when you have like 5 or 6 different bunkers that all can see the same massively open gap, because then there's no decision. There's no, like, you can't isolate. It's literally you just have to gunfight out. Like, if we were to imagine a hypothetical where you had an infinite amount of paint, and assuming both players were equally skilled, you would just not get out of this spot, you know? It feels like it. I don't know. Maybe not. But sorry, I'm gonna have to send a message here in just a second. So then, if we continue to, if we come out here, so again, this engagement. What I think will happen. I think for the support players or the attackers that go to this can, I think your paint needs to go towards this dude. Very likely, unless for some reason he's not shooting your way, which is never going to happen. I think they're always going to shoot at you. So I think this is an option. You also could shoot this dude. Like, you could put your paint towards the right side of the can as you get to the can. But the thing is, you really ought to be shooting. This guy ought to be shooting for that. So anyway, coming out here. Coming to the heads up. So this is the most, to me, this is the most interesting part about the Dorito side so far. Maybe the Doritos themselves will tell me something different. But this is the interesting thing about, so when you get to this can, this wrap inside, this is the dude you put in, and then you're good to go at least to the tower. So, you know, you put this dude in, you come up to the tower, it's still the same guy. You could challenge him from this position. But obviously the snake is a concern, right? There's lots of opportunities for the snake to shoot you. Well, are there? Let's take a look. Yeah, the wedge, I think the mini wedge would shoot you. If somebody took this inside route and you didn't see it, they could kill you here. Or if they jumped over, they could kill you here. So you couldn't stay on this, but you do have a lot of pressure you can apply to the Aztec and to the tower right here. So there's something there. But the thing that sucks is that you have to go forward. You can't go out. Because as soon as I get this tower dude to flinch, this is a massive bite afterwards, right? He can just start shooting this spot. So it's a huge commitment. There's no way you can make it. Again, he's got two extra gaps to shoot through before I'm alive. I mean, I guess you could come here and shoot. And if you know, obviously if nobody's matched up with you, let's say the Dorito guy in front of you is like wider than this, then it's the same challenge where you come here, you get this guy to flinch and then you dive out maybe. Again, that's a really big risk. So there are, I will say, as far as routes are concerned, there are a few options. There's quite a few. So like there are all of those options to dive out, but I just feel like the tower guy is going to have your number. Just trying to get through this gap, you know? So I guess we'll see. It's paintball. There's always a chance that things just do not pan out the way I planned, which happens a lot. So looking at this tower then, again on the inside, you could challenge him if you wanted. What I do think is interesting is that you're, you know, in a lot of layouts, you're so desperate to get out wide that by the time you do, you want to wrap and go, which usually means that you lose visibility to the middle. So this is a layout where like losing visibility to the middle may not have a bunch of repercussions at the start, but I think pretty quickly, especially as time goes on, people at this tournament are gonna probably take these interesting routes to get to spots. You know, I do think if you aren't careful and you lose visibility of this guy specifically, he's going to have a lot of opportunities to make some big plays, like ditch out to here, maybe come out, backpedal, push up to the middle. This to me so far is like the pivotal bunker to make decisions from. And it might even be worth doubling up because of that. See, look how much you have a lot of control on the snake, assuming that they're not wider than the Aztec. Tons of control on the snake, tons of control on the Dorito side. I wouldn't be surprised to see it doubled up, but obviously doubling it up is a huge risk because the moment that they get past your zone, like the moment they get past these two spots, as soon as they break out, this route becomes way more risky because now you've got a lot more eyes that are wider to see that. And I don't think you would want like a guy here and a guy here, probably. It just puts you, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the tournament goes. Okay, let's go back to the corner then. Let's look at the outside. So there's nothing here. I don't know if I'm just like if I'm missing something. There's nothing here. And you can't even step out wide unless there's no reason that you would step out unless you're just like in a really low down body situation and you want to come out this far. So there's nothing there. Heads up. Nothing here except for somebody at the 50 who you would need to challenge. Go into the Dorito 1. Nothing here. You can't see the guy in front of you. If he's at the 50 before you, it does make it a little uncomfortable. You can kind of ignore him, but assuming that you do and you look inside, your Aztec is a problem if they push that. This bunker right here, or this gap rather, which is that? Is that the Snake 1? Yeah, that's Snake 1. So you and Snake 1 could shoot at each other. You could also just ignore each other. But the problem is that if you ignore the Snake 1 and he's looking at you, to fight this tower guy, you would die. So you do have to check it off first. You do have to check out the middle. Man, there's... See, like, even when I get to the Doritos, like, if I'm getting to this the Dorito 1, after all that work, what do I get for it? I mean, if I stand up tall, I can shoot the inside Dorito, maybe? Maybe? I'm so curious to see how this is going to play out, because so far, I don't think this is a good layout. I think it's like one of those, oh, this is really creative, but I don't think it's good, unless I'm just missing something. If somebody in the chat thinks that I'm missing something, just let me know. Okay, getting up to this spot now is another one of those where, this is where I start to influence the game. Which is what, the Dorito 2, almost the 50. Yeah, and any other layout that would be like a Dorito 3. So once I get to this 40-yard line, maybe 35-yard line, this is where I can really start to influence the game because now I'm putting a lot of pressure onto that tower, the Aztec. Inside shots, I do have to worry about the snake wedge. This guy would kill me for sure. Yeah, I would come into his lane. So if you're going to take this bite, you need to do it quick or dive or something. And then just be very, very careful about the snake. Heads up again. This is where you can kind of ignore each other, but you do have to be concerned of somebody standing up tall over this wedge angle and then shooting down at you. So you can't really ignore each other, but you can't also directly fight each other in a lot of cases. But if you are able to wrap, you probably kill this Aztec on the snake side. And I would suspect that you kill the Aztec right there. Possibly, maybe, depending on what's going on in front of him. Okay, so rather than going forward, if we take this inside route to get here, you have pretty decent control of the Dorito 1. A little bit of the inside of that tower, excuse me, the can. Center tower was the only breakout bunker I saw which had a solid lane for Snake Cobra, but also the best bunker for stopping D side. I can see that being doubled up, or doubled a lot. Yeah, I do as well. Like, there's just... And again, like I said earlier, doubling it up is great, but it also presents its own challenges, because if you do get out wide, now all of a sudden you're super pinched out. And maybe that's the balance of the layout. Maybe it's like, yes, this bunker is really good, but the moment they pass this threshold, it's like it's a big problem for you. But I don't love wedges. Everybody knows, if you watch my content, I don't love wedges, but here it is. So you do have some shots towards... You do have some gaps to hold, but challenging somebody from a Dorito like this close is going to be really tough for you. Inside stuff, again, you can poke your head towards the Aztec, the same tower we've been talking about this entire time, or the Aztec, or excuse me, the laydown wedge over on the snake side of the field. I'd be very careful about that. That's a guy that will kill you if you're not paying attention. So that getting to that wedge is a really key thing. Really quick, I want to remind myself of something though. Yeah, so it's this gap. I don't know. Maybe you can get to that wedge without somebody seeing it. But this shoot over the top down. The hope is that you clip them. But yeah, actually, I think if you get really close and then go laterally, I think that's going to be pretty hard to shoot. Because right now it looks like your paint's going to fall just behind them. Try that at practice for sure. Because here's the thing. If this tower stops that snake wedge move, really bad for you guys. Really bad for you snake players. If this shot does not stop that, you snake players need to get to this wedge very quickly. What, can this guy stop him? I don't know. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. I don't think so. Yes, the snake corner can wrap the tower. The issue is going to be getting there and not having the middle kill you. So this guy can absolutely wrap this. He can also come up over the top as well. So here's the thing. It might be way more playable than I realized. This little corner of this bunker might actually be way more playable than I realized. But just from the looks of it, because like from this angle, if you look at the brick, he's not killing you directly. Like he might kill you in your feet or your pack, but he is making you feel very uncomfortable. And if somebody matched you, even worse. But if you're the widest dude in this spot, you can actually play on the outside of your bunker. No problem, because if they get to this wedge and they shoot on the outside, you're dead. But like I said, you can play over the top right here. And I actually think this is a fairly strong position on the field. I think doing this is a fairly strong move for you. You just, again, unfortunately, you have a lot of people who can see you when you do this. So you're welcome. So okay, let's keep going. I know I got distracted. My mind went to the middle, then I wanted to see what the middle could see on the snake. So Dorito inside stuff is there. Again, you have to be aware of that snake wedge. And then if we wanted to cross this threshold, this is a pretty big gap. This is one where I could see the god, or probably, I guess, more likely the Aztec. I could see this laydown wedge anchoring you. Or actually, this is the usefulness of this bunker. So, so this is the usefulness. I don't love it, but like this spot otherwise is pretty useless. If we go back here, this bunker I think sucks. I think it sucks. I'm not sure. But like, what does this do? What does this do snake side? This holds this gap. I would think that, I mean, if you can't get wider than this, because like the shot's there for sure. Like this off the break shot is definitely there. It's tight, but it's there. And you might even be able to find a better one. Like if you stand out here. Here's the thing though. If I'm every time standing here taking this shot, I'm now going to start getting shot over the top of this brick. That's just what's going to happen. So I feel like the God, or whatever you want to call that laydown mini W is, I feel like that spot is going to be a lot safer to play or to get to. So alternatively, you start here at the box, you come here, and you shoot from this angle. So you get here very quickly, you shoot from this angle. This might be the safer option to shoot the mini wall. Now, the interesting thing is if you do that, this is I say it every time, but this, if somebody's running here to this spot, this is a different angle than if you do this, or than if you do this, an L hook. Those are all different, right? Because here's the box. This is where my paint lands in that first instance. This is where my paint lands in the second. And this is where my paint has to land in the third. So those are different angles. And they're minute, but they are different. So that's simply just like if this is projected onto the other side of the field. But if the simplest, if I just come here and shoot, you look at how flat the shot is for me, from my perspective. The difference between me shooting shallow here versus shooting just behind that versus shooting baseline, that's a difference. That's a meaningful difference. So it looks like this is the safer shot to take onto the snake guy, if you're trying to kill the guy getting into the God. Now, you can also have a second gun that plays a little safer behind the tower that shoots on the outside of the mini wall. This is definitely an option, to shoot at the outside of the mini wall to make sure he doesn't pass that. So those are the two guns you could have for the snake side. And that's really the value of this bunker. So if you do kill them or stop them, then the game is played at this spot. Then that means there's nobody wider than this, which would be kind of crazy in my opinion. But even if there was a dude here and you're being mirrored in this situation, you can't stop the snake, and the dude has nowhere to go. I don't think he's going to go to the corner behind his dude in front of him. Maybe he will. Maybe. But otherwise, the other value of this spot is there is this crossfield shot that puts pressure onto... Yeah, it does put pressure onto this outside route. Maybe that's better than I'm thinking. But then it's the whole reason we got here was because this gap is really big and really good for you. Like, so say for example, you go to this spot, you lose both your Dorito guys. You have a call out for like danger Doritos or something, or dragon. Like there's calls you can use to say we lost our entire Dorito side. This is a situation where you could switch and actually have some value here. But again, you're conceding everything up until that Dorito 2. Right? You're conceding literally everything up until this gap. This is all conceded. Let's reach out here for a second. Okay, sorry. I hate this. Oh, I just lost chat. That's fun. Docs, let's see, chat, there we go. Yeah, I'm gonna assume they're going God every point. Yeah, why wouldn't you? There's no way you would stop. There is literally no universe in which they stop here. I feel like the only way that happens is if you're playing against like Russian Legion and they send two people up the middle. They send like a guy here, a dude's playing in the back center, and then they send two people out to the Dorito. Like there's just no way. The God Runner can even dive baseline and just crawl forward. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you run out here, you dive, you come here, you dive right here, and look, who's seeing you? No one is seeing you. This is such a hard shot to hit. So you get to the God, and you could honestly stay back here. You could stay back here, shoot paint right here, stand up over the top, shoot paint here, and then dive to this spot. I guess the tower would be the concern there, but yeah, even if you were to come here and stand and shoot right here, maybe that's a little high. You'd have to round it. Yeah, actually. So look at this. If I dive baseline and I come up right here, look at that. Now all of a sudden I can shoot at the Aztec if he's there. I don't need to worry about my mirror, likely, unless they do the same thing, obviously. In which case it's a heads up battle. But like, I challenge the support play. Oh no, excuse me. I can ignore the support. That's what I meant to say. If I find the right spot. So if I dive just before this Aztec and I'm right here, my mirror can't see me very well. This Aztec can't see me, but now what happens is I use this little nipple on the wall as a point of reference, and I shoot back at the home right here. I wrap, shoot at this dude, and now boom, I'm in this spot. That's an option. Not saying it's the one that's going to happen every time. It's an option, which means you tower guys need to be shooting your paint towards this. You need to be aware of this spot, not just shooting on the outside. So, all right, get to the wedge and then let's do breakouts because I need to go. Oh yeah, I need to go. Let me just send an invite to my Discord really quick. We're having a meeting in my Discord server. Server info. Copy link. Any voice? Sorry guys, voice. This makes for terrible content, but I have to do it. Any voice channel? I'll be 10 minutes late. Okay. Going back. So getting to this wedge, cross shots from the wedge are really good. Holy. So yeah, if anybody gets stuck in that corner, that dude's dead. The snake one's not dead quite free, but pretty darn close. Aztec is in trouble. This guy can stay alive forever. That god spot is really strong. You don't have to worry about the snake as much anymore, unless they just pass the 50 and then poke their head up and shoot you. But it's not very likely. Inside shot towards the can is really good. Also towards the tower, if you go a little higher, really good surprise shot for these guys. So for example, if you get really low, none of those guys can see you, right? If you come here and then stand up and snap, those dudes are dead. Otherwise, if we do the traditional wrap and go, we can shoot the outside of the can. Obviously, the dude's straight in front of you. Step off a little bit further. If I don't step too far, then I can... Can I? I think I can ignore the can. Challenge this dude. Ignore the can and ignore the tower guy. Probably not, actually. Otherwise, traditional wrap and go. Wrap on these two guys, and that is it. So... wrapping on the can there, the Aztec there is okay. So let's take a look then at the breakouts. So just joined, welcome. We're almost done here, but be sure to go back when the stream is done to look at the rest of what we've talked about. So let's finish with some breakouts now that we've kind of looked at it. So why this emoji thing is so annoying. Sorry, I gotta redock my chat. Okay. Who's going outside highway on snake? True. Who is? So here's what we got. I think the breakout, there's so much you can do to shut down people, but I think this tower is literally the most important bunker on the field because of how much influence it has on it. Again, the value of the bunker is that it's very safe from, home to home shots. It has great visibility on both sides of the field, a little less on the snake than it does on the Doritos. But it's so strong that people will very likely be doubling it up. It has a great inflow from there to the 50. I keep saying 50 to this like 40/35ish yard brick or big brick. So really good options there. With that, you then have the opportunity to run people down. There's a lot of visibility you can abuse, or the lack thereof you can abuse in those pins. So I really think this bunker is just going to influence the entire game. With that being said, then I think that you will double it up, and what you will do is you have a choice. If you're really fast and accurate, higher divisional players will probably want to aim for this inside shot and then go for the outside. Yeah, it's a tough call because you obviously want to stop the wide guys, but if they're stopping themselves at this can anyway, you don't need to shoot on the outside. But until then, if you can hit this shot, go for it. But otherwise, you're just shooting some kind of gap over here. Nothing too crazy. For you home dude, you are shooting... I would probably suggest that you shoot the outside shot just to act as a safety net. Again, you could shoot for the god. You could shoot for the corner. That is a big enough difference that you can't just cover both with one gun. And then I think that the support player will very likely shoot for the snake runner right here. Those are where I think the default guns will be off the break. As far as... So this is going to be the 2 on the Dorito side, the 3 or the back center, and then the 2 on the snake. That's like default, okay? The only trick to this is that if if one of your wide guys dies, pretty much no matter where they are, filling from this position, from this center brick or this center tower, is going to be very, very difficult. It's a little less difficult if you go from the tower over to the god, perhaps, as it is to go from the god over this Dorito, this beast, we'll call it. But who knows? It might not be that bad. But I think that's probably what you're going to see a lot of, is like when people start to die on the wides, on the wide routes. This is a lot of what you're going to see. What I would probably suggest to not do is I would probably not do a person here and a person here. However, if you are going to do that, I would think that having this guy look snake is better. You'll have to, this is a test. You'll have to test, because it certainly depends on where they're at in the snake. But I think the brick guy looking snake way is better than him looking Dorito, even though the Dorito gaps are also really big. And that's more because this tower guy has really good visibility over to the Dorito side. He can stop most everything here. And obviously this guy can as well. But the tower guy does not have visibility over to the snake as much as this guy does. Which I say that, and you really don't have any visibility here. So maybe it's just scuffed anyway. So, but to go back to that same train of thought, I like this setup more than I like the opposite. And that's because I think that the run-through routes, very likely, I have no idea, but I think they will come from the Dorito side of the field more than they will the snake. Who knows? Mostly because the snake is such an anomaly. However, because the snake is going to feel a lot of pressure, he's probably going to have his head down a lot more than he would otherwise. But the other reason why is because I just feel like when snake players are going to get to this... this wedge, this mini wedge right here, their only job is going to be to look on the inside of the field. So, I mean, they'll certainly see that cross shot, that cross move here as well, where they protect that. But I don't know. For some reason, I just feel like the run-throughs are going to come Dorito side more than anything, because I think people are going to feel that the brick towards the snake way is better. So again, kind of a default setup would be this guy overwatches here. This dude watches the snake. If there's any value here, I'm not sure there is. I'm not convinced there is just yet. This guy will get here watching the middle. The other thing he needs to do is watch for this as well. This outside thing every so often. So that's what this will be. We'll call this the 2 Dorito side, 3 the 1. The 2 on the snake will probably want to get to this point out here at some point in the game. And then, honestly, the Dorito 1 guy is kind of on an island by himself. But what felt like you know, obviously, you want to get to this point on the field on the Dorito side. I feel like if you can get here is when you can start influencing a lot of what's going on. However, the wedge will kill you if you're not careful. So if you get here too slow, this snake guy will kill you from the wedge. But that also means that if you get here quick enough, you should also stop this. This is what you should be looking for. Yeah, so... we did talk about this as well. So let's say, for example, you know, you guys are matched, okay? You guys are matched in this position. You tiger this dude. You can jump over here and go all the way. That is going to be a problem. And I don't really know the solution to that because nobody can see this. So the only person who can really do anything about it, this guy might be able to shoot a pack if he's like really tall and the guy's loose. But the only option to stop this is like we talked about. If you come out wide right here... Look, if I come out wide along the baseline, who sees me right now? No one sees me. I always forget that freaking Dorito over there. But that's it. That's the only guy who sees me, right? And it's the beast of all places. It's the beast that's going to see me doing this. So that does tell me that you number 2s, if you do end up, it even could be the number 1s. But if I have this setup where the 2 is this way and my 1 is out here, it's possible for my 2 to come here and then pick up that gap. So what that looks like is it would be right here. What am I looking for? I'm getting lost. Oh, it's the baseline route that I just talked about. Okay. So you would be looking right here. That's where you'd be shooting. Made that my team's call out, beach call out. That's funny. So, honestly, I don't really know. There's obviously tons of stuff you can do on a paintball field. I can't cover it all. I'm hoping to just spark curiosity and inspire you to try things. But What I would do probably to start is I would double the home at a practice, and I would get comfortable with what that feels like. And I would also really try to understand what it looks like to bust out of a hold when you double the home in either one of these routes. I guess it could be up here as well. And alternatively, you could backpedal. So there are options. I just think you guys should see what that looks like. I would also try to figure out what this bunker does. Like maybe the flow of the game feels like there's a lot more value out of this bunker than I'm thinking there is. But this bunker literally looks like a channel to just get to here. And otherwise, kind of the ideal setup is to have your snake 1 somewhere in that position, someone here, your 3 in one of these 2 bunkers, your number 2 probably in one of these 2 spots. I mean, he could be in the can behind, and then your number 1 hopefully in one of these 2 bunkers. That's kind of like, it seems to be the ideal. And I only say that because I don't think this is good. I don't think this is good. You can protect your teammate from getting run. Well, you can't protect him from getting run down. You can make sure that that's a trade, right? Because you can't actually see the guy, depending on how wide he's running, I should say. No, that's not true. You can see him. Okay. So there is some value in that you can protect your teammate here, and you can wrap to like shoot towards the center tower that we talked about earlier, but there's nothing else to do here towards the Doritos, right? You're literally coming here as like an insurance for your guy in front of you, who's going to be doing most of the work. He's the guy that's going to be coming here and hosing everybody down in the middle. But so that's only the reason why I feel like I don't know how common it will be for people to leave this spot, because it has so much control over the Dorito side. And even if we get to the Beast, the Beast no longer has control of the Dorito side. The Beast would, if you were to leave, so let's just last thing I'll say, and then I really need to kind of finish this up. If you were to play this spot as the number 2, like the number 2 on the Dorito side, and your secondary move is to come here, you're making this move because you are trying to like run somebody down and trade out with them. So let's say, for example, you've got your opponents here and they're here, and you guys are here and here. Okay, so you can very easily put paint towards the can to get him to flinch, and obviously take the bite, assuming paint's not heading your way. You can come here, and now all of a sudden, no one knows, like the guy in the Dorito 1 loses all visibility of you. And the only way that you stay protected is if the number 3, who is in one of these 2 bunkers, is looking Dorito way. That's the only way that you stay safe, because, or that this guy kills you, because otherwise you have so many routes to blind the dude off to kill him before anybody sees you, and probably before the snake even sees you. I mean, the snake can definitely see these inside routes from that wedge, but assuming that they're like stuck for some reason in this back spot. So here's what I'll say. You snake guys, you need to get here very quickly. There's a lot you can stop if you look on the inside of the field. There's a ton you can stop if you get to the inside of the field. And then here's what I'll say. When stuff starts to break down and you get to this spot, consider going on the inside of this bunker. There's options here as well. There's opportunity here to do that, or like we talked about earlier, jump over here and then, you know, continue all the way to finish the game. So, but because I'm thinking to myself, like, this guy cannot support his teammate in this position. You have such little visibility on this inside channel right here as to what's going on, that somebody can just come and run you down. And you don't gain any more visibility by coming here either. It's really cross-field stuff that's protecting the Doritos, which is this guy. This dude's doing a lot to stop the Doritos. You can lane for snake 1 from Dorito can, but that's a far shot. Yeah, that's a super far shot. I'm assuming you're talking about this one. Yeah, this is a really, really far shot. So if for whatever reason, if you're able to contain them in this gap, then I think you could do that as a way to find value. So like, for example, you don't really need to push the Doritos very quickly, because by the time you get here, let's say you get to this Dorito first, but they eventually get to the snake wedge. The snake wedge kind of negates all of what you were hoping to do out of this Dorito. So if your breakout consists of this number 1 getting here and he shoots that crossfield shot, and so here, let's do the overhead so that way it's a little easier, and then I'll be done. So if this guy's whole mission is to get to that spot very quickly and live, you've got 2 people doubling the home. This guy's paint goes here. This dude's paint. This guy's whole job is to stop them from getting out past the God bunker right here, and this dude is there to help ensure that. So you have 2 guns off the break that's stopping the snake. As soon as this guy gets set up in his position to hold that crossfield shot, he frees up these 2 players to do whatever they want, right? In this case, you could say this guy then comes up to the 50. He then takes over the job of, now this is a trap that you're setting, because you can shoot them. You don't have to be dumping paint in this gap. You can shoot them. So when if you're this one attacker and you're looking cross field and you're shooting this paint and you see your guy push up to the middle, that's your cue to let that job go. Once you drop the job, this guy's free to do whatever. So then after the breakout, you have your number 3 who's doing this. Your number 1 on the Dorito side who's now playing heads up trying to push the Doritos. Your number 2 supporting that. That was probably your number 2 as well. This dude now is free to do whatever he can support, but his whole mission will be to get out to this spot if he hasn't already. And then your number 1 is just going to be here trying to get in. So that's going to be what? 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. That's what that breakout looks like. But again, that's a really far shot. That crossfield shot is massive. So you'll have to find it. But the shot is only there to deter somebody from running through the gap, and until one of your teammates picks up the shot. So, okay, that's all the rambling I'm going to do for today on this layout. Sorry for the delay. I'm super busy right now. I'm tired of saying it. You guys are probably tired of hearing it. But hopefully things will get better here in the future. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you're watching this after the fact, please be sure to like the video, hit subscribe button if you haven't already. I will be at Mid-Atlantic Major, but it's going to be a crazy event with how many tournaments we have to get through. So if you do happen to see me, let me know. Also, if you guys are interested in buying my TM40 with mech frame and barrel kit, send me a DM on Discord and we'll chat. If you're on my Discord server, you can DM me there. But I really want to get rid of that. I want to get a Planet Eclipse gun, but I also don't know if I want to buy a gun right now. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace.